We can see a flashback to before Iris was being chased by the group of wraiths. "Iris, do you like the constellations that's supposed to be your sponsor?" Anna Croft asks her. Iris stumbles a bit, saying that they are not very well known. She very cautiously says that her sponsor sometimes talks like a pervert. Anna Croft brushes off what Iris just said, and joyfully tells her that if she is able to give a great performance at an up-and-coming gourmet meeting, she would be able to arrange a more famous sponsor for her. Iris is delighted by this lovely news and assures Anna that she will try her very best. We are now in the present and can see how Anna was able to put Iris in such an unfortunate circumstance. As she runs through the deep and dark woods, the sponsor opportunity notifications floats around her. She takes one look at the message and with tears in her eyes screams out the words, "I accept." The perspective shifts to the constellations of the Gourmet Association. On the big broadcast screen looming over the stage, we can see two of the wraiths, brutally chomping at the bodies of two deceased participants. The number of remaining expedition members falls down to 6. The mass-produced maker sees Kim Dokja sending messages to Iris, although it looks like he is trying to do it rather discreetly. He gets Kim's attention and confirms with him if he is also taking part in the hunt. Kim is able to reflect the question, however, asking the mass production maker if he is participating as well. The old man kicks his hands in the air and rests them behind his head. "I'm way too old to join that kind of scenario, kid. And it doesn't suit my taste anyway." He looks at the list of constellations participating in the sub-scenario as wraiths, but isn't able to find the name Kim Dokja. "I don't see your name anywhere," he says. His eyes widen as he starts to figure something out. "As I thought, there was a reason that old hag Persephone brought him here." The mass production maker thinks to himself, looking at the curious fellow in front of him. He asks Kim if he will really be okay doing this, as it is still his first time attending the Gourmet Association, and he shouldn't get on bad terms with any of the more known constellations. Kim Dokja thanks the old man for his thoughts, but tells him that the more brilliant and flashier his debut is, the better. We see a notification message saying that Iris's sponsor contract has been completed. Gold orbs start floating around her as she kneels down under a tree, the sponsor's contract window now turning from blue to gold. As this happens, a few of the wraiths sense the new contract being formed, as they start getting closer to Iris's location. A few more information windows pop up, telling Iris that the contract the Shadow King of Redemption wants to propose is only temporary, and that the contract is only valid up until the end of the sub-scenario, when she throws the bracelet into the volcano. A temporary contract, it even has a condition. Iris thinks to herself, while wiping away her tears that are stained with blood. Another window also states that her sponsor wants ownership of the wish that she will be granted at the end of the scenario. Iris studies the message windows and thinks to herself that her sponsor is basically saying that they will try and save her no matter what, as their ultimate reasoning for this being the wish that she will have been granted upon the completion of the sub-scenario. "If I die, he doesn't get his wish, so I should work with him as he wants me to stay alive," Iris thinks. Kim Dokja realizes that when he closes his eyes, he's able to see Iris from her perspective. She gets a message, telling her to stay calm. She shakily admits that she is not sure if she will be able to do that. Iris looks around a bush, discovering the bracelet she will need to finish the sub-scenario. To help Iris stay calm, Kim decides to give her his Assassination King's cloak. As she receives the gift with open arms, she hears two wraiths speaking to each other. "Do you think she is over there?" they ask each other. She quickly puts on the coat and starts shaking uncontrollably, as one of the wraiths looms over the overgrowth that she is using to hide herself. "Strange, she was definitely around here," one of the wraiths say. "Are you sure you really saw her? It seems she pulled something off. Let her run a bit more, she will taste better the more the scenario progresses," the wraiths say as they converse within feet of poor Iris. As the wraiths start to separate to look for her again, she used this opportunity to quickly grab the bracelet, barely able to stop herself from breathing heavily, otherwise the wraiths would find her in seconds. "I survived," she says, surprised. Kim Dokja doesn't want Iris getting too careless though, so he sends her another message, saying that she just got lucky, the wraiths weren't looking in her direction. He thinks to himself that if the constellation's powers weren't limited to make the sub-scenario more entertaining, she would have been found in almost an instant. If the ones she encountered had been high-grade constellations, it would have been impossible to hide her presence with the Assassination King's cloak. "Thank you for the gift," she whispers to herself, covering up her face with the cloak. Kim looks at the broadcast in the Gourmet Association. There are now only 2 remaining expedition members. He thinks to himself that the members were dying faster than he thought, so he tells Iris in messages how to go directly to the volcano. She emerges out from the forest, and we can see a towering volcano, so tall it has clouds surrounding it. Now all she has to do is to toss the bracelet that she collected from one of the corpses of her fellow expedition members and throw it into the volcano. A few of the constellations at the Gourmet Association compliments Anna on her story-making ability. This story is getting quite interesting. She has already become an incredibly tasty meal, hasn't she? "Even looking at her makes me drool," says one of the hungry gourmet participants. Kim says to himself that it looks like some of the constellations have figured out that Iris is receiving help from someone on the outside. Suddenly, the death message for the second member of the expedition team pops up. This means it's game time for Iris and Kim, as the only one the Wraiths will now be targeting is her. We can see Iris hiding behind a concrete block as Wraiths walk by her. A Wraith suddenly gets a smell of something delicious and starts darting toward her general location. The duration of the Assassination King's cloak is almost over too, Kim thinks to himself. He quickly sends Iris a message, telling her to run, as the cloak that he gave her is running out of juice. Just as she thinks she is shaken off the Wraiths, the cloak vanishes, leaving her completely bare and surrounded by towering enemies with no hope of survival. One Wraith gets too excited and pounces on their prey, but just as the Wraith gets close to Iris, Kim requests her to lend them her body. He activates Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint Stage 3, but it doesn't come easily to Kim Dokja. We can see him struggling to keep it together, as he grits his teeth and sweat rolls down his face. He is able to transfer his consciousness into Iris successfully, and Kim in Iris's body starts to emit a powerful yellow aura. Some of the constellations take a step back trying to understand the situation and how she got so powerful all of a sudden. As Iris looks around, one of the Wraiths figure out that she has been given help from someone outside the scenario. "A descent is it?" a Wraith says. "Seems like we have just struck gold." We can see poor Kim Dokja collapsed on the table. Another Wraith tells him in Iris's body that he looks like a newcomer by his presence, so it would better if he just gets out of her body so they can enjoy their well-deserved meal. The hungry Wraith who first pounced at Iris cuts everyone off, asking why everyone is taking their sweet time. But as he gets his arm ready for a deadly backhand, Kim summons a sword from thin air and slices through the entire Wraith's body. A few constellations scream out in surprise as they watch the monitor. As Kim aura farms in Iris's body, we get an explanation as to what the sword she is holding is. It is a double S-rated sword, with the ability to generate a force, able to resist Wraiths, for up to 10 minutes upon use. A notification pops up, telling him that many constellations are astonished by his actions. After seeing one of their friends get turned into Wraith soup, they start to question whether fighting Iris is really worth it. "You must have known I would come to the volcano," Kim says. "But did you know, I also knew you all would be gathering here. Let's start the real hunt," he says, as he gets his sword ready for battle. He activates White Purity Star Key Level 8 and slashes his sword in the direction of the Wraiths.